Get inside, get what we need.
And this is this week's Closet Classic.
Phil Gallagher here along with Buzz Spinali, Andy Spinali, fresh out of his sophomore year at UNH, and we're here today covering Fox 25 on the Common, and Andy and I are going to go around and get as many interviews as we can and get impressions of the local folk as to how they've enjoyed this event. And Andy, so far, your thoughts on what we've seen here so far?
Well, I think so. This is a great event, public relation-wise, for the town of Burlington, and we've heard so many times. And of course, we have a biased twist to it. But Burlington, between the sports and the recreation department and the parks, I mean, really, it offers, as far as the Middlesex County is concerned, second to none for this town. And I know people who have just moved here who have loved it. So this is a really good way to showcase what we have to offer to the entire state and the entire region of New England, and it's been really exciting. I think all the kids that are around here, that are behind us, are really enjoying it, and this is what it's all about. It's all about bringing the community together.
Right. And during the course of the day, we're going to turn the tables on Fox 25 as we're going to interview a couple of locals make good. Paul McGonigal is the assistant news director. He's the Burlington High graduate 1986. We're also going to have Liz Marr, who is responsible for the bulk of the production of today's event. And we're also going to get an opportunity to interview Kim Carrigan. So Andy and I are going to be busy for the next hour or two, and we'll be back with a host of different personalities, local and statewide, for you to have a look at and listen to. We'll be right back. News director for Fox 25, who's here at a very exciting event, the Fox Zip Trips, they're called. Paul?
Yes.
Tell us about that first, and then we want to talk about you.
The Zip Trip itself, it's great. It's what it is, it's just local TV. I mean, we go there, we come to Burlington. I mean, look at the turnout here. You turn it over to town, because people always say there's too much negative. You never come to our town for positive news. This is what we call the Rotary Club, the Chamber of Commerce. Talk to selectmen, talk to regular people. You tell us what we should highlight in your town. And this is Burlington Show. For 3 hours today, it's Burlington Show on Fox 25. And we do it all over eastern Massachusetts, in Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and we do it all summer long.
Okay, we also want to mention Paul McGonigal, class of 86, local boy makes good. Tell us about your odyssey. You leave high school. How is it you arrive at Fox 25?
Well, actually, my interest started before BCAT was even there. It was with Miss Dalton at Burlington High School and Jack Hayes. And we used to have these black and white cameras, and we wanted to put on a newscast through our English department. And I just love it. I got the bug, and what's great about Burlington, it shows here, is, we went out to it was Town Government Day, and everyone's like, sure, you can interview us on things, and I just kind of got the bug in that time. So we started putting stories together on the town water system, the fire department, and as soon as I kind of reached senior year in high school, I told my parents, this is what I want to do, and they said, go for it. So I went to Ithaca College and studied journalism, and my first job was on air. I was a reporter in Vermont. I was an investigative reporter in Iowa for a couple of years, and then I was a general assignment reporter in Providence, Rhode Island for 10 years.
So you're an expert on cows and corn?
Exactly. Plenty of corn, yeah. Not much happens in Iowa. But then I had the opportunity to go into management, and I really loved being on the street, but I was able to see the other side of the business, so I got the job. I went to management at WJR in Rhode Island, and then 2.5 2.5 years ago, Fox 25 called, and here I am.
Yeah, so for a local boy, this is great. You're living down the Cape, and what's your commute like? And then what's your day like in terms of setting up the news schedule?
Well, first, it's nice living in Sandwich just to have the ocean. That's one thing we don't have in Burlington, but I'll tell you.
Not yet.
Yeah. But one thing Burlington has, and you don't realize it till you leave, is just the kids. Everything in Burlington, as you know, is centered around the kids, centered around sports, centered around activities. And there's a spirit in this town, as you can see here today, that people up from the outside don't see it because they see 128, they know the mall, Lake Clinic. They don't know the heart of Burlington. The heart of Burlington's its people. So that part of Burlington I really miss. But I have 3 children and my wife. We live in Sandwich. My wife's a school teacher. And commute from the Cape, come up Route 3. I work the morning show. So I'm the manager from the morning until the afternoon. Then my news director takes over on night side. But our day is literally, it's dealing with people on a daily basis, making phone calls. And Fox is, we're cutting edge newscasts. We don't want to be what the other guys were. We want to do things first. The Zip Trip's a big part of that philosophy. So we're big into investigations. We're big at making our mark. We're not afraid to tell the maybe negative side of the story, but Fox 25 is about the community, and that's what makes the station so great.
And you have some very experienced talent that's been around with Kim Carrigan and Gene Levanchi. How is it to work with them?
They're great. They're great. And that's the one thing great about Fox, too, is, you know what, we realize that there's talent in this market that the other stations had and didn't realize they had underneath their roof. So what's great about Fox is our general manager, Greg Kelly, says, is, you know what, we bring the best people, put them under one roof, and let them go to work. It's a great place to work. People just have a good time. They have a great sense of humor, because in this business, you have to have a good time because you deal with a lot of negative. But just super people.
The State House, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. But just super people, who really care about the product they're putting on.
Great, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Paul McGonigal, Assistant News Director at Fox 25, Burlington High, Class of '86.
All right, we're here with Al Fay at Fox 25 Morning News. Has a zip trip to Burlington, and this is a lot of fun, Al.
It certainly is. It's a lot of fun, a lot of people here. They arrived here early. It's always fun in the Common.
And of course, Al donated his truck today to have the banner put down. You see Phil Gallagher and our engineer Dick Linder over there with him now. What type of organization and planning goes into having this, or is a lot of the responsibility on Fox 25?
Fox 25 News contacted Burlington. They wanted to do the ZIP program with Burlington. And of course, Paul McGonigal, who is one of the producers at Fox, lives on Church Lane in Burlington, born and brought up here. Matter of fact, he was my paper boy, as a matter. But it worked out fine, and he's here with all his family. And they just asked if I would come up, and I said yes, of course.
Great. And as far as what did the town have to provide?
Well, just town had to just make sure that, the Common looked right, and it's a good PR thing for Burlington, really, to bring them to Burlington. And as we all know, Burlington's a great town, So we just had to make sure that things were going to be ready. Doug Gillingham was in charge of the Common, made sure that the weather was going to be perfect for us, and everything worked out fine.
Was there a backup plan if the weather wasn't perfect?
I don't know about the backup plans. But with Doug, he would never let that happen. Doug's the man, Have Truck Day for 10 years in a row. We've always had great weather. Pride Day has been very fortunate. Always something going on at the Common.
And we talk so much about Burlington being a great community. As far as public relations are concerned, I mean, this is really a gold mine for the town to be able to show off all the great things it has to offer.
It is, and we say it's a great town. I'm a little prejudiced about Burlington, but Burlington is a fine place, really. And, all our town employees do a great job here, and the recreation department second to none. Police and fire, public safety, and of course the BCAT channel. We were far ahead of the game with anybody. Dick Linder does a great job for BCAT, as you know. But no, we did a good job.
Al Fay, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. That's Al Fay, everybody. Let's send it back to B News.
Thank you.
We're here with Walter Zinkin, who's the newest member of the Board of Selectmen, and now roughly 2 months into the job, I would say, a couple of meetings under your belt. Give us your impressions. Was it what you expected in terms of serving? It's a lot different on the outside looking in than from the inside looking out.
Yeah, well, what the great thing is being on the town meeting member for 8 years and the capital budget. I got to know everybody and really understood how the town works. So going in there, I felt really comfortable and just being myself, and it's going really good.
Mm-hmm. What are your subcommittee assignments so far? Have those been issued at this point?
Yep, I just was issued the fire. Mm-hmm. I'm on the conservation, the use of the common, and the bylaw committee. So it's exciting, you know. I think the bylaws have to be really addressed. It's something to be looked at. The fire right now is important, and and also I'm on the bike path committee, which is good.
And initiatives that going forward now that you're in there and you got a with a Hawaiian shirt on here today. Right, exactly.
Awesome,
what initiatives do you think you see yourself applying yourself to coming up?
Well, I think a lot of stuff has been on the table for a while, and it's time to start addressing these and getting some things done. I think it's a great board. It's been been great to work together with, and we're going to get some stuff done. We're going to work on the Wildwood School. We're going to work on the landlocked parcels. We're going to look on. I absolutely think we have to look at the bylaws for the signage and stuff. So I can't wait. Grandview Farm.
Another issue, yes, as we sit across from it. And your impressions here this morning of this event?
It's fantastic. This is great for Burlington. You couldn't ask for a better day. It shows you what a close-knit community it is, from the kids to the seniors. We all get involved in the businesses. It's absolutely incredible, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Wonderful. Thanks for your time. Walter Zenkin, member of the Board of Selectmen.
We're here with the folks from Delicious Desserts who provided some great food here in the zip trip for Fox 25, and I'm here with Rocky, one of the owners. And how much work went into this?
A little bit in. Started about 3. Got everything loaded up and down here with Rocco's help and Lisa's help, so it took a little bit of work.
Now, is all this food for free for the people, or what? Is there a deal worked out with Burlington, or?
I know everything was complimentary. Whatever you wanted to bring down and share with the people, and it was free. Yeah.
How important for you as a business in Burlington to support this zip trip and kind of support this great PR for the community?
I think it's great. I mean, it gets people out, gets people, seeing small businesses in town that maybe they didn't know were there. Gets our name on, television. It's great.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for doing it. All right, this is Rocky from Delicious Desserts. Back to B News Weekly.
I'm here with Bob Hogan, president of the Burlington Rotary, Burlington's Veterans Agent, Bedford's Veterans Agent. That's great. You just finished your Fox News piece. Tell us about it. What's your impression of this whole deal here this morning on the Common?
Well, first of all, I think it's great how many people have turned out and the enthusiasm from the community. I was fortunate. I went on early, got the tension out of the way, represented Rotary Club as the president. We are going into our 50th year celebration, and they were kind enough to ask us to come by and talk about Rotary and the community, which I was able to do for a couple of minutes.
Okay, it's 50th anniversary. You're actually finishing your career, not your career, but your year as president.
Correct.
Tell us about some of your accomplishments during your tenure and Rotary in general.
Well, it's the club's accomplishments. I take little credit for all the things that everybody in the club has done. We've done a couple of new things in addition to the fight night, which is always very successful, the 10K raffle, and then all the service work that we do, we've continued to do. A couple of new things that we did this year as a group. We raised a couple of $1,000s to give to the police department to sponsor one of their RAD, rape, aggression, defense classes for the women. And we are also going to have somebody walk right in front of us.
Yeah, that's okay.
And we gave a couple of $1,000s to the fire department to purchase a defibrillator. We had a fashion show. One of the members came up, Mary Duart, come up with the idea of doing a fashion show to raise some funds. And
were you in that fashion show?
Actually, I was. A lot of the Rotarians were in it, and it was a wonderful time. We had a great time. We're going to do it again. There will be a second annual Rotary fashion show. And it was a lot of fun. We raised money for the food pantry and other scholarships and other things. We also, for the first time, Dave Fionda rides the PMC. He's ridden it 8 times. So we decided...
Pan Mass Challenge?
Yes, Pan Mass Challenge, the bike ride to raise money for the Jimmy Fund. Well, they have a kids version. And we did a kids version of the PMC in Burlington just a couple of weeks ago. It was successful. We are going to have a second annual PMC kids ride for cancer research for the Jimmy Fund. All the money goes straight to them. None of it comes to Burlington Rotary, but as a community group, a service organization, we decided to go ahead and do the legwork and the manwork to get it done. So those are some of the new things we did.
And you did the golf tournament as well?
Well, the golf tournament was rained out.
Oh!
It's been rescheduled for August 27th. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. That's the first time that's happened with us. So August 27th is the golf tournament for last year.
Great. Now, before you go, I just want to spend a moment here and let's critique Fox News. I was a little upset. I mean, I get up there and the wind's blowing, and no hair, no makeup. Do you think that? I mean, didn't you feel that way? I mean, going on statewide,
in only 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, we didn't have much time to really do a lot.
I mean, and you're up there with Kim Carrigan, a beautiful woman.
She's looking good.
Right, and the two of us. I mean, no makeup, no hair. I'm really disappointed.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was a struggle. Yeah.
Thank you, Bob Hogan, President of Burlington Rotary and the Burlington Veteran Aid.
We're here with John Tuccinati, the incoming president of Rotary. We kind of had to wrench him over here. But just, John, really quickly, talk about what this day means for Burlington.
Well, this day's first time that we've had an event like this in Burlington. It just brings everybody out from all different groups and in the community here, all different organizations and everything. And it's just a beautiful day, and it just highlights the town of Burlington. So.
From a PR standpoint, we've mentioned it a few times, this had to be a gold mine.
Oh, for the Rotary, it's it's a once in a lifetime event. This is our biggest year coming up in quite a while. We're going to have our 50th birthday this year. So to spotlight that, today we unveiled a new banner highlighting our 50th anniversary, and you cannot get publicity like this anywhere.
We also out with the old kind of in with the new offices being installed tonight for the Rotary?
Yes, tonight the past president Bob Hogan turns over the reins to myself. Bob has another week to go. We officially start July 1st. We have a new president-elect, vice president. President-elect is Beverly Vidoli. Vice president is Dave Morrison, and they'll be coming in on board tonight as well.
How exciting is it to kind of see the wheels of change going, and how exciting is it to be able to help the town of Burlington for you?
For me, it's a dream come true. I've only been in the Rotary a little over 3 years, and to be considered a president where you have such an active club in this town, such an established club, Rotarians that have been members for years, it's just a real thrill and an honor for me.
Now, that being said, do you see a lot of changes coming with your administration? Do you see a lot of the same stuff?
No, we have so many things going on that we've actually put together 2 years ago under past President Paul Swanfeld that will be coming into fruition this year. So it's almost like you always have things going in the pipeline. So you're just completing projects that were started a couple of years ago.
All right. Well, John, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. My
Enjoy
pleasure.
the rest of the day.
Okay.
Back to B News.
I'm here with your state representative from Burlington, Middlesex 23rd District, I think. Is that correct?
21st,
23rd, give or take a couple. Right. And Charlie was on this morning on Fox News in a segment on Burlington trivia, and I'm going to give you a chance here, Charlie, redeem yourself.
I went 10 for 10.
Yeah. What year did Burlington go to the Super Bowl?
Come on, everybody knows that. It's 2006.
Great job, Charlie. Great job. And what number does your brother-in-law wear in the NHL?
Well, he doesn't wear anything. Oh, you mean when he was playing?
Yes, exactly. Okay, you knew that. You knew that.
12, right.
Okay.
12 for the Bruins.
Right. So give us a little bit of your impression of the experience here this morning.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, we've got a ton of people out here. We get a beautiful morning, which is nice. It's just a nice opportunity for people to come out and see how things worked and show off Burlington a little bit. I think it's a pretty good showing. I was talking to one of the folks from the show and asked them about other towns, and they said Burlington, in terms of the number of people coming out, we're doing much better than most, she was saying. So,
all right, tell us what's going on in the State House. Now let's switch to...
things are busy. I mean, it's budget year, it's budget time of year, so we're dealing with that. But then, in addition to that, the hearings are taking place, a lot of hearings, a lot of bills being considered. So, but every year it's the same schedule. Gets busy up until July 31st. Rest of the summer's quiet, come back in the fall.
Right. Now you're working on the local option, increase in the hotel and meals tax, Governor Patrick's initiative to try and raise money for local communities seems to be in a bit of trouble.
There's not a whole lot of, excuse the pun, appetite for that particular one. I'll tell you, something we just did yesterday, however, was the GIC healthcare bill. Which is
that's the initiative to put the municipalities in GIC?
That's right. The towns now have a local option. Well, I shouldn't say now, but the House passed it. The Senate, we suspect, will, and the governor will sign it. We'll have the opportunity to buy into the GIC healthcare system, which it certainly isn't, going to solve the problem, but it's going to go a long way saving cities and towns a lot of money.
But this is a collective bargaining issue which will have to be taken up in the individual contracts throughout the communities?
That's right. There certainly will be some say in that regard, but I think when you look at the numbers, and very quickly, I think the numbers I saw for Burlington over the last 5 years, healthcare costs have gone up somewhere in the neighborhood of 75%. GIC, same time period, is about 48%. Bedford's 110%. Again, GIC is 47%. So there's a lot of cost savings there, and I think it's going to work out well.
Okay, and critique for us the first 4 or 5 months. Let me see, we're almost 6 months into his tenure as governor. He's had a couple of miscues, certainly the foolish ones, the State House curtains and the Escalade and a couple of other issues. I think he fired the head of the State Disability Commission, a couple of other terminations. Overall, grade him for us in the first 6 months in your view.
I'd give him a B- probably. It's a slow start, no question about it. In terms of firing certain folks, I've got no problem with that. It's his administration. He wants to put his own people in, that's fine. He did make some silly political mistakes with the car and the curtains and chief of staff for his wife. But he's learning. He's never held elective office before, and now he's starting in the corner office. So it's not shocking that he really wasn't very good at it. He's got some real good people around him now, which if he had 6 months ago, I suspect he wouldn't have had these problems. But he's learning. It's a long term. It's 4 years. He's going to do fine. And it's nice to have a Democrat up there.
Well, power hates a vacuum, and there has been a bit of a vacuum for the first couple of months. How would you characterize Speaker DeMacy's activities during this period of time? Has he elevated himself in terms of political stature?
I think he has, because especially the last few months, he's been the guy. Senate President Theresa Murray is brand new. She's still getting her legs under her. Duval's new. Sal's been there 28 years, whatever the case may be. He's been Speaker now for 4, I guess. So he knows his game. You know, he's the Speaker, and I think he's doing a good job. And we'll just keep moving forward.
Yeah. Now, what about your assignments this year?
I'm currently sitting on Vice Chair of Judiciary Committee. I sit on the Consumer Protection Committee and the Veterans Affairs.
Great, wonderful. Charles Murphy, our state representative, 23rd Middlesex District?
21st.
21st. I can never get that right. Thanks very much, Charlie.
All right, thanks, Phil.
We're here with Carol Woods from Caldwell Banker Woods Real Estate, and they've actually provided shirts and stuff for the book drive. And how exciting is this day for the town of Burlington?
This is wonderful. We're having a great time today with Fox News and our Aloha Friday morning, the zip trip. It's awesome. We're having a great time. Everyone from the office has come out, and we brought some crocodile cupcakes for Jean Levanchi, and we're just getting our picture taken everywhere. We're having so much fun and meeting all of our neighbors that we help them buy and sell their homes and everything. So we'd like to help you too. Give us a call or visit us online, cbwoodsrealestate.com. And I thank you very much.
From a public relations standpoint, I think you just kind of said it all in a mouthful, is that this is really a gold mine for businesses and small or big in the community to be able to come together and promote something like this.
That's absolutely right. And the restaurants that are here, giving us all little tastes and everything, that's great. It's big fun, and we're collecting all kinds of goodies, our zip trips and everything. It's fun. It's very fun.
How important is this event to kind of showcase what Burlington has to offer to the rest of the state and the region?
It's a beautiful event. It's very important because this common is beautiful and the city, the town of Burlington is beautiful.
Carol, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you for having me.
That's cbwoodsrealestate.com. Back to Phil.
Hi, I'm here with Bill Poehler. Bill's a town meeting member, but unfortunately for Bill, this interview is not about him. It's about his famous daughter, Amy Poehler, Saturday Night Live, a fixture at this point. Tell us what's Amy up to these days? I know she's got a movie coming out. She's been very active.
Yeah, right now she's doing a movie in New York called Baby Mama, and we're very proud. Amy is playing a white trash surrogate mother. It's going to be coming out in 2008, and she's already filmed one called Spring Breakdown with Parker Posey and Rachel Dratch, and that's also coming out in 2008.
Now this is her 6th, isn't it? Is it her 6th Hollywood endeavor?
About that, yeah, right. All the way from the beginning of Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, which we're very proud of.
Right.
And She was just in Blades of Glory with her husband, Will Arnett.
Right.
And Will has a movie coming out called Brother Solomon. That's coming out in September.
Now, are you grandparents yet?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
My son, Gregory, who
Right.
lives in Sweden. We have little Benjamin, and we have another one on the way.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
So we're actually heading there next week to Sweden.
Great.
So-
And what's up on town meeting with you? You're a fixture there. How many years have you been there now?
I would say maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
Not exactly sure.
And are you and Lou what should we call it? A political force there at town meeting?
Well,
or,
Lou does my speaking for me. Not that I agree with him at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But he does my speaking, that's for sure. And a few other people speaking, now that I think of it.
Thanks very much, Bill Pola.
Thank you.
Paul Estivo, owner in Burlington, resident, owner of Sammy's and a Burlington resident. And Paul, talk about this day for Sammy's and being able to support the town.
Oh, this was a great day. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, and they invited us down. We brought some food. Everybody had some samples today. It was a great time. Great time.
As far as promoting the type of town that Burlington is, how important are events like these?
This is unbelievable. This had very little advertising, and you can see it drew hundreds and hundreds of people out of the woodworks this morning at 5 a.m., and we're still here at 8 o'clock today. This town's incredible.
How much work went into preparing all of this for your crew?
Not too much. We started yesterday. Everything was cooked fresh. We got up the wee hours this morning, cooked everything fresh this morning, and brought it down. So it went pretty good. Everything was great.
Well, it looks delicious. And Paul, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And take care. Paul Estivo.
I'm here with Jane Hyde, member of the Burlington Planning Board and a member of the Burlington Housing Partnership. It's been a busy couple of months with the Nordblom proposal. I guess Gutierrez is going to come forward with a Third Avenue proposal. But tell us first about housing. I understand you have a lottery coming up on first-time home buyers.
Yes, I do. We're going to be having a lottery in August. We have 5 two-bedroom condominiums for first-time home buyers. The price is $169,000. We have 70% preference for Burlington residents, so especially municipal employees, which is a nice little category. I'm hoping to see some of those type of people come out and apply. We've been advertising. We're out there. Matter of fact, I'd like to get onto BCAT if I could at some point and kind of bring this. This is like for residents as well. And in another year, we're going to have another lottery for some 3-bedroom condominiums. So we've got a lot going out there. We've got rentals going. And
What are the criteria for the first-time home buyers?
well, it is income and asset based. You can't exceed $50,000 in assets, and it's based on family size according to 80% of the median income.
Okay. And how many units altogether going to be available
There'll
in
be
this
a
program?
total of 9 by the time we're done for first-time home buyers, and we have 34 affordable rentals over there.
Okay. And in terms of our 10% has been that goal for achievable for 40B. We surpassed that. Where are we in terms of some of the older 40B projects? Has that been resolved, whether or not they stay on as affordable units?
Everybody except the Arboretum, and we're not really sure where we stand with them. Right now, they're still on the books with us. We anticipate them still being there, and of course, the town will take action to keep them that way too.
Okay. And somebody bought them out, right? Is that a Avalon? Who's that project
I think
now?
it was Archstone.
Archstone. Okay, great. And what about on the planning board? You're getting close to the summer here, maybe a couple of meetings, slow things down a little
We
bit?
usually get one in July and one in August and kind of slow down, but we keep busy all the time.
Yeah. What do you see coming up as a major project?
I would see that the Northwest Park may be coming in for their permitting soon. And you just spoke about the Gutierrez project.
Okay, now you're a local girl. How long have you been here? Oh, no, I can't ask that question. I can't ask that question.
No, we don't go there.
Well, we've been here a long time. What year
Yes.
did you graduate Burlington?
1970.
Oh, wasn't supposed to ask that either. And what's your impressions
But you
here?
graduated before me, Bill, so I don't feel so bad.
Yes, you'll never catch up. And what are your impressions here this morning of this event?
This is wonderful. What a great idea. It's a beautiful day. There's a lot of nice people here. It's a lot of fun, and it was great to be here.
Great,
Thanks, Phil.
Jane Hyde, Burlington Planning Board.
Getting perspective from the kids now as the Fox 25 band is right behind us. I'm with 2 of the luckier players in Burlington baseball. Why are they lucky? Because they had me as a coach. To my right here is Sean Costa. Sean, how have you enjoyed the day so far?
Pretty good. I just got here. But
You just got
yeah.
here. I didn't know that. And Louie?
I've enjoyed the day because there's a lot of fun going on and it's enjoyable.
How cool is it to see the van and see all the setup and stuff?
It's pretty cool to know that you're on live television, that the whole state can see you. It's pretty interesting.
And how cool is it to have all your friends here representing Burlington baseball and representing every angle of it and enjoying themselves?
It's very great because you know that Burlington is a very athletic town.
Athletic town? All right, finally, who's your favorite coach?
Andy Spinali.
Who's your favorite coach?
You.
Well, he doesn't play for me anymore, but I think Louis is going to be hitting leadoff next game. Let's go back to Phil.
Hi, I'm here with Dan Maloney, who is a Cambridge resident. That's all right. Go right through there. No worries. That's all right. Let's try that again. Quick. Oh. Watch yourself, buddy.
Try it again.
One. We've had a lot of locals here today, and we thought we'd try an outside perspective. I have Dan Maloney with me, who's a Cambridge firefighter and has been to Burlington on a number of occasions for a variety of events. And Dan, tell us what gets you up here, why you're here today.
Well, a common like this is just such a great place to be with the weather the way it is. You know, it's gorgeous weather, you know. And with Fox 25 being here today, I was invited over by a friend of mine, Al Fay, who's a selectman here in the town. And I just think a common like this is just a great place during the summer to have fun, you know. Al's been running a truck day at the Common. It usually happens the first week in September. That's been a great show. They fill the place with antique trucks and all kinds of trucks, and they have cookouts and everything. And I always felt that for a town like this that has a Common, geez, what a great place. I think a lot of people, the people of Burlington anyway, those that haven't been here, should realize what a great place it is to be. You know?
And while we're on the subject of Cambridge firefighters, tell us what's going on down in Cambridge. What, if any events are taking place? We know we had that tragedy down in South Carolina. How is that affecting the membership and your fellow firefighters?
Well, I have 35 years in the fire department in Cambridge. I drive one of the chiefs. And when a tragedy happens like that in South Carolina, for all firefighters around the country, it really hurts because we were there when 9/11 happened, and I think it's a situation that it's sad. And the thing that hurts the most, I think, is the families, the children that are, and all those. You get 9 firefighters down in South Carolina. I don't think a lot of people realize that just last night in Brooklyn, they lost a New York firefighter. And so that makes 10 firefighters in a week. And you think of all the children and the families that are affected that way. And it's a tough thing for all of us, too.
The membership and the locals are rallying to their support?
And they do, yes. All the locals down in New England, Massachusetts, many of them will go down to funerals and things down there. I have one friend of mine, a firefighter down there that I work with, who is married to a woman from South Carolina, Charleston, right there where that happened, and they personally know some of those firefighters. And so they're going down to that funeral also, too. So it's quite a tragedy, you know.
We've been here with Dan Maloney, Cambridge firefighter. Thank you for joining us, Dan.
Thanks.
Here with Rick Carlin, president of the board of BCAT and also cameraman extraordinaire. And Rick, a lot of fun so far today.
Oh, this is a great day. I'm amazed at the turnout of this. But then it's Fox 25. They know what they're doing, and they got a good crowd to turn out. So.
As far as BCAT's promotion of this, we saw a lot of stuff talked about it multiple times in the news and flyers put up on the bulletin board. From BCAT's perspective, how important was it to promote this event?
Well, it's a town-wide event. BCAT, takes very seriously whatever's going on in town. So we take it, really. This is a big event for us. Big event. There was a time when BCAT got started where we would just do programming, and that was it. And in the last few years, we've really kind of slid into more of a news and try to really be on top of whatever's going on in town. So that's what this is about.
And talk about the change, because it seems like the change in BCAT has really happened over the last 3 or 4 years that I've even been there. And talk about the change and really how much Jen Dodge and her staff's been a part of that.
Jen Dodge and the BCAT staff, they work together very, very well, and it's a great organization. For the people out there watching BCAT, you've seen the change. A lot of that, we can't take it personally. I mean, yes, we've helped to do that, but BCAT has just grown. We're 20 years old this year. We started out small. We moved up. We're the station that other channels come to, that other access channels come to see what's going on and how to do things. and we're very proud of that. And a lot of that is technology, and a lot of that is how wisely we spend the money, and that whole kind of thing. But we're looking at some great technology now that's making life a lot easier, so that we can do different things that we just were not even possible years ago.
And there also seems to be a growing community support as BCAT gets more and more advanced.
People are much more aware of BCAT now. They're aware of what they can do. They can go out to BCAT, take lessons and take courses and different things, become involved, become a volunteer. That's becoming much more well known. The volunteer base is really spreading wonderfully. We love to see that kind of growth. So we just hope it continues on, and that all the contracts work out well with the cable providers and that. And boy, there's activity everywhere, isn't there? Just like it's always at BCAT, you always see that, but around here it's nice to see somebody else doing some of the work too.
All right, well, happy 20th to BCAT. Thank you very much, President Rick Carwin. Let's go back to Phil.
Keep up the good work, okay?
Dick, we've got a couple of new technological advances down at BCAT called Studio in a Box. Tell us about that.
Okay, well, we have two things going, Studio in a Box and a brand new control room for the studio. Studio control room will probably take effect around Labor Day because there's a lot of lead time in the equipment and a lot of technological stuff we have to think about. But the Studio in a Box, I think Monday I'll have it pretty well ready to go on the road. And the driving force behind that is that to drive the van, oh, we've got fellows walking. That's all right.
It's a community day.
Right. To drive the van, you have to be an employee. That's an insurance requirement. And we thought we would like anybody to take it. So what we did was we were going to strip the van out and just put a plain table in there. And what I'm finishing up on Monday is a box about 3 foot square, and everything will be in the box. Everything that we have in the van will basically be in the box. The big difference is
switches, control panels, etc.
There'll be 4 little monitors for 4 cameras, and there'll be the preview and the program monitor, which everybody is used to, and there'll be a roll-out shelf that has the switcher on it, and there'll be an audio monitor, and there's some equipment to condition the power so that if we have spikes or surges or over voltages, we won't blow the equipment out. It conditions the power. All that will be in 2 boxes. And since it's not going to be screwed down to the van, anybody could sign it out, put it in the back of the station wagon, and take it anywhere.
Okay, so we're going to have, we'll be having classes, various instructional classes for the populace to come down and become involved in BCAT and learn how to do their own productions.
I'm sure our staff will be eager to help people out, because this is why we made it a portable unit, so people can sign it out. And the other big thing is that, unlike the van, this is going to be digital from the front of the lens all the way to the recording. So it's going to be 100% digital, and the picture quality ought to be absolutely a knockout.
And when you say the control room refurb, that's going to completely digitize the entire control room at this point?
The whole thing will be digitized, and you won't recognize it when you come in, because we're thinking about large plasma TVs for monitors, and it won't look anything like it looks now, and we're very excited about that.
This is third generation, actually, since you've been there, since we started with the old VHS tapes.
Oh, the old VHS tapes, right. This is it's third generation. The transition from analog to digital, you always have a hybrid system, but now will be 100% digital. And it's going to be really a remarkable setup.
Wonderful. Dick Linda, BCAT's engineer, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
We're here with some of the little people enjoying Fox 25 News. What's your name?
Allison.
Allison? What's your name?
Mitchell.
Mitchell? And your name?
Juliana.
Juliana. And Juliana, you seem to be the more talkative of the 3, so how are you enjoying today?
It's very fun and exciting that we're on TV this early.
How do you like living in Burlington?
Well, it's good. A lot. It's fun.
What's your favorite part?
Meeting new friends.
Meeting new friends? And I see you're wearing a Brave softball jersey. Do you enjoy playing this year?
Yes.
That's good. And now for you, Allison, you want to talk? No? Okay. All right, so one more question for Juliana. You want to say anything to Mom or Dad on the TV?
Well, no.
No? Okay. Well, she's right there. All right. Back of out to BCAT.
I'm here with Bob Mercier, Burlington's town administrator, actually in his second stint as town administrator. Let's go through some of that history, Bob. You came over from Maynard as an assistant. Now, that had to be, what, 1979?
1980, actually, I first got here. When you first went to a town administrator form of government, I was the first one. Thankfully, they hired me, and I came back.
And from there, you went to the Chamber of Commerce and then a stint at Bill Ricker. So now, how many years altogether have you got in Burlington?
Let's see, 7, 6, 13, almost 14 years.
Okay, let's start with a couple of half-speed fastballs down the middle and then some high and tight stuff. Your impressions here of the event this morning, and it's really been a couple of weeks going on in the preparation that took place. How did you become aware of it? How did it build? And your impressions of the event as it's unfolded?
Well, they called me. They called me 2 or 3 weeks ago and said that they were interested in doing a zip trip here and what did they need to do. And we just got very involved, and frankly, they do most of the work. They contact most of the people. We're thrilled to have them here. I welcomed them here. I told them that you're going to enjoy it here. It's going to be your best zip trip. From what I'm hearing, it's the best turnout they've had to date. And we're not done yet. We still got about 45 minutes, right?
Right.
The only problem, Phil, is you and I didn't wear our Aloha shirts.
Yeah, everybody's up in Hawaiian stuff. I thought I'd go with the old, traditional uniform, the blue suit. I guess I would.
Well, we can always say you and I got to go to work.
Right. Well, I guess that shows just how much we're out of touch at events like these. All right, now let's have some high heat inside fastballs. Let's see if we can turn them around. We got a couple of outstanding issues. The Wildwood School is one. You've just come forward with an initiative. Explain that to us.
Well, the Wildwood School has been a problematic site for us. We've been holding off because the school committee had made some decisions on what they wanted to do. Ultimately, they decided the memorial is going to be rebuilt. We're still waiting on potential funding from the state. So that freed us up to start to look at the Wildwood site. What I did not want to do, Phil, is I didn't want to spend $1.5 million of taxpayer money to take it down. So I needed to start to think about how we could get this thing accomplished without spending the taxpayers' money. And my proposal is that we look at selling some individual single-family lots, use that revenue to tear down the site, and then the town still owns the majority of the site, about 10 of the 13 acres. And then we decide what we want to do with it as a town, whether or not it's recreational fields, whatever it happens to be. But my point was not to try to spend, you're the moderator, you sit at those town meetings. We've got some budget issues, we've got a lot of things on our plate, and I just didn't think $1.5 million to tear down the building, albeit I know it has to be done, should be done with taxpayer money. So the challenge was to find another way without selling this whole site, and that's what I heard clearly. People don't want to sell the site.
Now, what about the cost of knocking it down?
Well,
if as an alternative town meeting or the community, let's say the sale does not go through, how do we find out what the cost is to, de-asbestosize it, I'm not sure if that's the proper terminology, and knock the thing down? How do we find that out? Can you do that in unison with sending out an RFP for the lots?
Yeah, I think so. The numbers we're using, Phil, on the $1.5 million was an analysis of the structure we had done in 2004 by SCA. They were structural engineers. They gave us an estimate of about $880,000 to $900,000 to tear it down, with a factor for asbestos removal of about $200,000 or $300,000. And what we did is said, from that date, 2004, add 10 to 15% a year, and that's where we come up with about the $1.5 million. Now, as you know, we got to publicly bid everything with the prevailing wage and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what the final number would be, but it's certainly in that range.
Okay, now, the Grandview Farm is rapidly becoming an eyesore.
Yep.
Is it blasphemous at this point to suggest that $3 million is too much and it should be knocked down? Or is there a funding alternative? Do we need to bond it? Or is a 50-year lease to somebody who's willing to rehab it on their nickel an option? What are you looking at right now? Why not just slap a coat of paint on the thing so it doesn't look like it's a disaster?
You're not the first one to ask me that.
I wonder.
Well, it's so prominent in town. It just sits up there on a knoll overlooking the town common. It's still, I believe, a treasure. I'm trying to preserve it. I don't, and we made this commitment at town meeting. We didn't want to spend taxpayer money on the rehab of it. We've got about $800,000 in the kitty from a variety of sources. We are putting out, we've got SCA as our consulting engineers. They're redoing the documents to rehab the main component, the main house. without necessarily the focus on the historic preservation, but let's stabilize the structure.
Right.
Let's do the foundation, do the roof over, perhaps the front end with the windows and the siding, and do something to make it look like for people in town that something is happening. Then we need to decide where we're going to get the rest of the money, because you're right. The
How
number
big is it?
Close to 3.
It is 3.
Yeah.
That is not that's a real number.
That's a real number.
Okay, well, what about a short end type of thing? You know, it's never going to be brought up to code unless you spend $3 or $4 million. Why not something in the middle, restore it a bit and give it to the Historical Society as a museum?
It's a thought. That is clearly a thought, Phil. I mean, we thought about it as a function facility, those type of things. I'm not sure if that's doable at this point.
200-year-old wood structure?
I'm just not sure. We are in New England. People kind of like that, but I'm just not sure. We're reevaluating that. We thought that it could sustain itself. I'm not quite sure it can. The bottom line is this. It's our structure. We own it. It's our building. We don't have, you've been here all your life. We don't have a lot of history in this town. That is one of the oldest structures in the town.
Treasure
It
service.
certainly looks it.
Right, exactly.
But, we've got the French.
Looking old isn't a bad thing, Bobby. Looking old isn't bad.
I agree.
All right, now
Stay tuned. That's coming.
All right, now a curveball, hard curveball, and then we'll get the easy stuff. This is a year of abundant water supply, both in the reservoir and in the Great Meadow. Yet we have tremendous restrictions on water usage. I know we went out to bid on the upgrading of the treatment plant. Yeah. How did the contractor fall down on this? Why did they start the project if they weren't going to have the parts?
Well, a simple answer: file sub-bid law in Massachusetts. The main contractor, the prime contractor, hasn't been a problem. It's been very good. But as you know, under the Massachusetts laws, he has to file sub-bids with all of the other disciplines, the plumbing, the electrical, the heating, all of that kind of stuff. The general doesn't have a heck of a lot of control over the subs. And we had about an 8 to 12 week delay in delivery of some of the electrical components. That wasn't the only delay. We found some peat, some excessive peat on the site itself, and then we had a little bit of a struggle with it's an interesting site, and you know it well. It's partly in Woburn, so we needed double approvals from not only the Burlington Planning Board and the building inspector, but also the Woburn people. It wasn't a major delay, but it was a delay. And you're right, it's causing us some issues. We're concerned about it. We think there's general compliance around town.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But we're seeing some abuses, and we are enforcing it. And we are sending the police out, and we're going to ticket people. It's a serious issue. It's not about our ability to supply the water.
Right. We have plenty of water, sure.
We have the water, but there's only so much you can pump out of one of the plants.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, as you know, this town has operated with 2 plants. We have one down.
Right.
That's where the problem is.
Now, when do you see
the good
relief?
news is it's probably about 3 weeks.
Great. Now, here's one for you. Bob and I are both Celtic crazed people, and it's been
we've tempered that.
Yes, we have 21 years of disappointment. Now the hot rumor is that Kevin Garnett was going to come to Boston in exchange for Al Jefferson, Sebastian Telfair, the number 5 pick, Gerald Green, 3 office desks, and
you were included.
Yeah, I might have been included in that. Exactly. Right, and $5. Right. To me, just the mere suggestion of such a deal for a 32-year-old guy was absurd. What do you think?
I concur. You know what? Look, we're all frustrated. We're young, we're building. We've been hearing that for 10 years.
Right. Those guys are old that we've been building with.
We've had some pretty bad luck.
Yeah, exactly.
The most recent being the ping pong balls. I don't get it, but no.
Lenny Bias dies. We missed out on Tim Duncan. Now we missed out on Odin and the other guy, Durant.
Yeah, but you know what? We will persevere. You and I are going to be fans till we die.
Absolutely. Well, we only waited, let me see, how many years? 50 years for the Sox to do it. So I'm sure the Celtics can come back as well. Thanks very much, Bob Mercier, Burlington Town Administrator. Thanks a lot,
Thank you, bud.
Appreciate it.
I'm here with one of my former campers, Allie Hardy, who's now a middle schooler, or middle school now, right? Yeah. Wow. Makes me feel really, really old. And Allie, talk about how much you've enjoyed the recreation department and everything that Burlington has to offer.
Well, it's so fun because they have so many different activities going on, and you should really try it.
What's it like to have Fox 25, one of the major news stations in town, come to visit?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Is it cool?
Yes.
Very cool?
Yes.
Do you miss Simons?
Yes, a lot.
Well, we miss you too. This is Allie Hardy, and let's go back to B News.
We're here with Franny Hart, Burlington Police Chief, graduate, let me see, class of 74?
Class of 72.
Oh, gee, I almost had it.
35th reunion, July 28th. If you're out there listening from the class, please come to our reunion.
Good plug, Chief. All right, tell us some of the events that are going on, some of the initiatives you're working on. You recently had, I think, the a seatbelt initiative. What else is going on with the department?
Good question. Just 2 days ago, we were informed by MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, that we would be a recipient of their Lifesaver Award. So we're going out to Clark University next Tuesday to receive that. Very proud to have the department honored in that way. Hello, Mrs. Devaney. And we have on the schedule for July, we're doing a Kids Safety Day down at Burlington Self-Storage on Ray Ave. We hope that people can come out. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be kind of a Dare Day reincarnated with the focus on kids' safety. We're going to be giving away free DNA kits. We're going to have water safety, fire safety, personal safety, lots of games, prizes, food. And we're also trying, we're in the planning stages of putting together an outdoor safety day right here in the Common with LL Bean. So we have a lot of things in the works, and we're always doing something.
Mm-hmm. You're noted for your interest in technology. How is the department advancing in that arena, in emergency medical responses, in crime monitoring in general?
Well, we're just at the end of an exciting initiative which is called Project 54. We will be the first department in the state to have all our cars equipped with Project 54 technology. And what it is, in essence, is controlling all the functions of a police cruiser with your voice. So the idea is to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road so that you're not reaching down trying to turn the siren on or the lights or trying to run a plate. So you sit there and you say, for example, lights on, and the lights go on. Siren on, the siren goes on. Run plate, it runs a license plate. So it's a great thing that we've been able to accomplish with the grant, and we're just excited about having that as being the first department to have that technology.
Now, what about the computer in the squad cars at this point? Is that technology advanced to the point where a stop is that much safer for the individual officer? He knows what he's dealing with when he's got somebody he's pulling over?
Yeah, we have laptops in all the cruises. We've added card readers now, so when you hand us your license, all we have to do is swipe it, and all the information is run automatically. So we're catching up with the business world who's been using swipe readers for a long time.
So you get outstanding warrants and things of that sort all aggregated in one location?
Yes, you can run pretty much everything in the car now.
Great.
So.
Okay, Chief, thanks very much. Chief of the Police Department, Fran Hart. Thanks a lot.
Class of 72.
Class of 72.
Getting perspective from the kids now as the Fox 25 band is right behind us. I'm with two of the luckier players in Burlington baseball. Why are they lucky? Because they had me as a coach. To my right here is Sean Costa. Sean, how have you enjoyed the day so far?
Pretty good. I just got here. But yeah.
I didn't know that. And Louie?
I've enjoyed the day because there's a lot of fun going on, and it's enjoyable.
How cool is it to see the van and see all the setup and stuff?
It's pretty cool to know that you're on live television, that the whole state can see you. It's pretty interesting.
And how cool is it to have all your friends here representing Burlington baseball and representing every angle of it and enjoying themselves?
It's very great because you know that Burlington is a very athletic town.
Athletic town? All right, finally, who's your favorite coach?
Andy Spinali.
Who's your favorite coach?
You.
Well, he doesn't play for me anymore, but I think Louie's going to be hitting leadoff next game. Let's go back to Phil.
Fox 25 morning news anchor. She's just completed 3 hours of a very tight production, I might add. Tell us what your day is like when you're going to do an event like this, for instance.
Well, I tell you, the preparation for this kind of event starts back in March. We choose the cities that we're going to go to in a big committee meeting, if you will, and we make a decision, and then the research starts. And we have a group of researchers who that's their job, to research these different towns and find out events that might be going on, history in the town, people who make a difference in the towns, and then that's all eventually funneled into a set of producers, and then eventually funneled down to all of the talent.
Now, what does it take to put on a production like this, the scope of it in terms of the helicopter, the number of people that you have on site today?
I want to tell you, it takes so much more than I am aware of. I take my hat off. the people who come out here and put these shows on, it's difficult to take a show on the road, any show, whether it's a show our size or a show that's much, much bigger, and even a smaller one, as you well know. So the crew gets on site. Usually, I think this crew was here this morning at about 3 o'clock in the morning. There's usually about 8 to 10 of them on the crew alone. Then we have 3 different people who are just the producers out here. And then, of course, we have a full control room of people back in Dedham who are also working at the same time we're out here working. So it takes a lot of people to get this show on.
Right. Now, what about Kim? This is a major market for you. You started, I think, in Des Moines. You're a St. Louis girl originally. Give us your odyssey in terms of up through the markets and your plans here in the Boston area.
Well, you know, I came to Boston back in 1993, fresh out of Des Moines, Iowa, so I was a kid from the Midwest, and I've had a great experience in Boston. It's a major marketplace for television, and it's a world-class city. Since I've been here, my husband has had a great career, and we have kids and the whole bit. So I've had opportunities to go other places, and I've been very fortunate, but I'm not so sure I want to do that. I'd like to stay here in the Boston area, continue to raise my children, and continue to enjoy the relationship that I've built with the audience here.
Now, I presume by this point you're a Red Sox fan.
Oh, yes, sir. Would I say any different if I weren't?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm smart.
Right. Well, it's been a long day for you. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us.
I got to tell you something. We go to a lot of towns and a lot of cities, and we enjoy all of them, but Burlington has been a special city just by virtue of the fact that we have a member of our staff who is from here, and it was important for all of us to come here.
Paul McGonigal, class of '86.
That's correct. And you've treated us so well, so we thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
How you doing today? Good. Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy it? I'm glad to hear it. Thank you. Hi, how are you? You guys wouldn't be related, would you? Oh, yeah. And how old are you? And that means you'll be a freshman next year? Or the 8th grade now? 8th grade. Have a great summer. Enjoy it.
We're here right now with Liz Marr, who is the behind-the-scenes segment producer who has been responsible for this entire production here today for the last, I think 3 or 4 weeks you've been putting it together?
Yes, it's been about 3 weeks we've been putting it together. I've had help from Michelle Lascano, another segment producer, Laura Gillespie, who also works at Fox. She's our newsroom coordinator, and it's been a lot of phone calls, emails to people in Burlington. Janet Sullivan, I have to give her a shout out. She was my lifeline, and it was wonderful. Great community.
Okay, so let take us through the process here. You go from being a person that nobody knows in Burlington to suddenly a person that everybody knows in Burlington. Tell us how you go through the segment production.
Well, basically, once you pick a town, then you start looking for a live location. You contact the town, the chamber, maybe the police and fire. Janet actually reached out to me months ago, and I told her, you know, sit tight. I'm working on some other zip trips. I'll be back in touch. And then you start asking people around the community what restaurants they like, what shops have been in town, what are the staples in town, who do you need to have on the program. Anybody that would be a townie sitting at home watching this, who would they want to see? Who would they want to see featured? And you know, who would they want to hear from and speak about the town, and so they could sit there and say, yeah, that's our town. You know, you don't want somebody that doesn't have much to do with the town on there and to have all the townies sitting at home going, who the heck is that?
Tony, what a great description of Townie. Now, tell me about the production itself. You were here this morning somewhere in the order of 3:30. What's it take to set this thing up?
Yeah, actually, the production crew, the guys, the audio guys, the tech guys, they come about 3 o'clock. They start setting up the lights. They start running cables and putting up the satellite dish. They make sure all the mics are on and batteries are working, and they set everything up. I actually get to stroll in about 5:30. And, you know, and I just kind of take it from there, and I tell them where the live guests are and the show, and make sure everybody's mic'd up, and basically make sure it's going to run in order.
And how many people, I asked Kim this, I don't think she really had a good grasp of how many people, you I'm sure do. How many people does it take to put this on? When you talk about the helicopter, the Dedham crew, the satellite crew here, all of your production people, how many people are involved in this?
You're talking about probably 20, 25 people, you know, back at the station in here, the helicopter, and, you know, some of the engineers came out. They have the plasma screen TV, and they're, you know, getting people involved in Fox and just involving the community, but there's probably about 25 of us
Now,
25,
behind the
30.
scenes, let's turn the tables on you today. How tight a production was it? Any faux pas? Anybody missed their cues? I noticed I was disappointed I didn't have any makeup when I went on.
No, everything ran smoothly. It's different for every town, and when something happens, Cindy's mic died, so she was supposed to do Cafe Escadrille. You just kind of move Gene over and say, take it away, and hopefully on air it doesn't look like there's any major screw-ups. So.
Great. It went smooth as silk, and Liz Marr was responsible for this production today. Fox 25 News Zip Trip to Burlington. Liz, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This seat is actually very convenient for the reporters. We just turned this around, and they usually do they'll track their packages right here. We'll give them a microphone that we'll plug into right here, and that feeds right into this deck here, and then they get their tracks for their packages through that way. And then the editor will come right here and sit right here and edit all the packages to go on air live that very day. Here is a waveform monitor for colors, color corrections, and things like that. This is our program switcher, VTR switcher. These are for different cameras, which obviously there's none of them hooked up yet. We can do bars, black, whatever.
How many different cameras does that do?
We usually only do one camera from here, but we could probably, we have camera 1, 2, 3, 4. We never have that many cameras. Usually we run like about one camera, maybe 2 cameras from this truck right here. This is our audio board for the different microphones that we have. So when we do a live shot, the reporter will be on mic 1. This is our IFB panel. This is where we connect to so that the reporter can hear what's going on back at the station, so that people back in Dedham, the control room, can talk to them, tell them their mic cues and things like that.
How does the video and audio get from here live out to the station?
All from right here. See, this is both a satellite truck as well as a microwave truck. So when we have a microwave truck is the tall mast that goes up, that bounces off to, I think we have 2 towers. One is on the Hancock and the other one I think is in Needham somewhere. And so for the microwave, it bounces from this truck to that Hancock tower down to Dedham. That's how we get the signal, the audio and the video. This is also a satellite truck. It's equipped for a satellite. And then the video and the audio will go from this truck all the way out to outer space and bounce right back down to Dedham Station. We use that when we can't reach the Needham towers or the Prudential towers or the Hancock Tower, sorry. And there's about a 4-second delay whenever you use a satellite shot, and that actually costs the station money as well, doing a satellite shot. So that's done off phase throughout here. This is for the satellites, and these are just our monitors. This is what's on air right now, the Fox show after our show, and this would be if a camera was hooked up, we would see it right in here. Obviously there's no signal. Just going back to the decks, these are the 2 decks. This is for, this controls this deck right here, and this one controls this deck right here. Alright, and I guess that's about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
We're here with Cindy Fitzgibbon. She is the Fox 25 Morning News meteorologist.
Meteorologist. I'm that too. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Nice to be here.
Explain to us how you made a connection between science and entertainment in your career.
Wow. Well, it all started with science for me. I grew up in Maine, and I have been a weather nut my whole life, since as long as I can remember. And actually, the weather part came much before the communications part did. Just kind of seemed a natural thing for me. I'm not the type of person who likes to be stuck in a room with a computer only. I like people, and I like to talk. So it just kind of seemed like a natural thing to be able to talk about the weather and get paid for it.
Well, yeah, and not have to be right all the time either, right?
Well,
Okay.
that helps.
How does one become a meteorologist?
Well, it's a lot of physics and calculus and theory courses. Basically, what you're doing is trying to figure out what the atmosphere is going to do into the future. And there's a lot of science behind that. I have a Bachelor of Science in Meteorology, a very specific program, but it's a 4-year degree. I got my Bachelor of Science. If you want to go on, you can, to do graduate course and teaching and things like that. But to do what I do, a 4-year program in meteorology.
Wonderful. And now that we have somebody who actually is educated in this field, let's ask you about global warming.
Oh, okay. Well, there are still some scientists out there who are skeptical, not on the fact that the planet's getting warmer, because it is. So the globe is warming. I mean, the controversy kind of comes still from why.
But it's heated and cooled long before we got here, right?
It sure is. In fact, where we're standing used to be covered in ice. I mean, the whole planet, goes through like periods of warming and cooling. So kind of the controversy is, what is behind that? Is this just a natural thing? And sunspots and sun cycles have a lot to do with it, so that is still being studied. But we also know that carbon dioxide in the atmosphere heats up the atmosphere, and that gas tends to absorb heat and kind of keep it trapped in there. So it is contributing to the planet getting warmer, but whether or not the extent of the warming is primarily due to that or other natural causes, kind of that's where scientists, some of them are on the fence. So I think it's still going to be studied, but my whole motto with life is better safe than sorry.
Right.
I mean, we know that this is contributing, whether it is how much. I mean, what can we do to kind of
So if we
slow that
prevent it,
down?
what difference would it make?
Right, exactly. And plus, I mean, all that in the atmosphere can't be good for you anyway. So my whole theory is do what we can and figure out the exact science later, because, anything we do to help will help. To the degree it will help, who knows?
Now you're watching the trends technologically and advances in fuel efficiency and alternative sources. Where do you think, are we moving in a direction? There seems to be a lot of money on Wall Street heading in that direction. Are there advances that might make a difference?
I think there are, because we've kind of been doing things status quo for so many years. Since we've had the technology that fuels our cars, we've been doing the same thing, right? So now you're starting to see other alternative forms of energy, and I think that it's going to take a while, but I think just this being such a hot topic in the public eye right now, whether or not, you believe it or not, I think the fact that it's out there and, businesses are catching on, I think that's a step forward. It's a step in the right direction. How quickly we get there, I don't know, but I think we're heading slowly in the right direction.
Great. Thank you very much. Cindy Fitzgibbon, weather scientist, Fox 25 News.
Nice to meet you.
We're here with Fox 25 morning news anchor Gene Levanchi. Welcome, Gene.
Thank you very much.
We're turning the tables on Fox 25 here at BCAT. Gene actually launched the morning show for Fox, coming over from Channel 7 in 2003, making the transition from the sports desk to the news desk. Tell us about that. Well, let's start from the beginning. How did you advance through the markets? How did you arrive in Boston?
Well, I grew up in Walpole, so this is home for me. Walpole High, class of 1982. In fact, I remember we played Burlington High. I think it was 1980. I think it may have been a sophomore or junior. I don't remember the exact year. But we beat you. Steve Strahan, I think, was on that team that year at Burlington High School.
Ouch!
So another quality Walpole victory. But I went to Emerson College. I've always wanted to get into broadcasting, especially sportscasting. Got a job in Fort Myers, Florida out of school. Came back, worked in Providence for a while. Worked at Channel 38 during Bruins games for a while. Had interned at Channel 7 in college. They had an opening, it worked out, and I wound up there for about 12 years or so. And then the opportunity at Fox came up. It was just a chance to do something different, to expand your horizons a little bit, face a different challenge from a professional point of view. And from a personal point of view, I have 4 kids. That other schedule is a little tough.
Wonderful.
This one's better for family life, although getting up at, when the alarm goes off at 2:30, I'm starting to like, that's such a good idea. But it's worked out great. The station's been really behind the show. It's been received really well. It's doing very well. Great group of people we work with. So I think I'm very fortunate to be where I am right now at Fox.
Well, we're glad to hear that you did better on the trivia question relative to the sports game than Charlie Murphy did.
Charlie was game though. He did all right.
Charlie was game.
Yeah.
Now going forward, you're home. You're locked into a great show. Great gig, as they might say in the business.
Yeah, I would think anybody who wants to work in the Boston television market, which is one of the best in the country, would want to work on a show like we're doing. 4 hours every morning. We give you all the news, information, weather, traffic you need, but then we're allowed to spread our wings a little bit, have some fun, give some opinions, interview newsmakers, comedians, entertainers, politicians, you name it. And it really is a challenge for all of your broadcasting skills, and I think that's why that show would appeal to anybody who really wants to work in this market and get a good challenge.
Now, how's the Zip Trip doing in terms of, let's talk the business side of it. This is obviously a market penetrating idea, bringing up close to personalities, up close with the community.
Yep.
How is that working in terms of affecting your ratings for the program?
I would tell you this, when it first started, I said to myself, you know what, we're kind of isolating here, because if you're not from the town we're going to, why would you want to watch? I've been proven wrong in that, because during the summers, which is traditionally the viewership is down, people are on vacation, Fridays are consistently our highest rated day of the week, and the numbers there are always very good, and these trips have really done very well, much better than I thought they would. And with each passing year, when we get a little bit better at doing them, and the viewership increases along with that. So it's really grown every year, from not only from our standpoint in terms of the technical crew we bring out and the amount of things we do in each town, but also in terms of the viewership as well. So it's far exceeded, I think, everybody's expectations.
Okay, and any three more questions, I'll let you go.
Sure.
You must be tired. New innovations for Fox 25 in the region in terms of programming. Do you see some new things coming up, particularly from your show?
Well, I think in the fall, that's the time people are always reloading and revamping. So yeah, we're working on some things that I think people are going to notice and are going to be different. I think already what our show does is innovative in terms of local TV news. But you know, if you sit and get complacent and just kind of stay on the same level, you're never going to grow or do any better. So we're always looking to revamp and try different things. I think for the station overall, you're going to see some new programming coming in the daytime leading up to our 5 o'clock news. Fox Prime Time is obviously solid with shows like House and 24 and American Idol and that type of thing. So I think you're just going to see us continue to build on the momentum that we've had over the last few years.
Now let's harken back to your roots and get some predictions for you from you. The Sox 10-game lead over the Yankees. The Empire looks like they're getting a little rusty around the edges. The Shillings had a little problem here, but the starting five looks strong with some help down on the farm. How would you project them coming into October?
Well, you think about it. The Yankees just went on their longest winning streak of the year. They were hot, unbeatable. They won 8, 9 in a row. I forget what the exact number was. And here they are still 10 games back, 10 and a half. So they may have gone on their run and they couldn't really cut the deficit at all. So I think they're done. I think they're toast. The Red Sox are the most solid, complete team in all of baseball. Even with Schilling's injury, they have enough depth to absorb that. This could do him well. As an older guy, get a little bit of a rest in the middle of the season.
Get some swing oil in there.
You know, rest that arm up and be ready to reload for the second half and into the playoffs. So I think, you know, even though short term it's a disappointment, long term it could help Schilling and the team overall. So I see him running away with the division and the team to beat as far as the postseason is concerned. And, you know, they've had guys who were supposed to produce and haven't, and yet they're still winning games.
Right.
So,
Lugo and
Lugo and JD Drew.
They've been
Coco's
dead weight.
coming around a little bit, but you know, I think since 2004 was a pretty solid and complete team. They had to make a deal, you know, at trading deadline when Nomar left, and they brought in Cabrera and Minkiewicz, etc. That helped boost the team. They still may likely try to do something, but I don't see a weak point on this team right now. So I think this might be the most complete team we've ever seen.
Okay, in terms of complete teams, let's segue into the Patriots. They seem to have acquired a fleet stable of receivers, which was a weak point. They were 6 points away from the Super Bowl last year with what most of us might consider an underperforming core of receivers. They've added Moss, Kelly Washington, Dante Stallworth, Wes Welker. They get Ben Watson. Is this the team? Are we dreaming? Are we in dreamland here with this club?
They you know, I want to see what happens with Asante Samuel, number one, and number two, their defense is always going to be solid. They made some upgrades there too, but their defense has always been good. The problem they had last year, I think, is offense. They really struggled. You know, look at the receivers that Brady had to throw to. And he really didn't have anything. In fact, you go back to the bulk of his career, he hasn't really had a big-time target. Not only did he bring in Randy Moss, who, if he plays by the rules, could be a steal. Stallworth is a huge addition, and Wes Welker is an amazing player. You know, and the 2 times the Patriots played the Dolphins during the course of the year, Welker was always in the middle, always a big third down guy, always the guy that had the back-breaking play for the Dolphins. So I think this is, again, you talk about complete teams, this is the most balanced they've had on offense, the most weapons Brady has had to use. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys go out every week. I mean, they should dominate, and I'd be very surprised if they stay healthy if they don't win the Super Bowl.
Great. Gene, you've been very gracious to take the time.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you for showcasing Burlington.
Burlington was fantastic. Best turnout, wonderful people. We had a great time here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gene Levanchi, Fox 25 Morning News anchor.
The town here. Burlington, you've been great today. Thank you so much. We got prizes for you. We got prizes. We love Burlington even more.
Red Devils t-shirts.
Red Devils t-shirts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we have summer reading. Choir summer reading.
There we go. Excellent.
Summer reading.
Thank you very much.
And we know VB's not here, but we heard the challenge this week.
Yes.
We think we beat Winchester. Our friendly rivals.
800 books from Burlington in our Reach Out and Read drive. Let's put that in the video, which is somewhere here.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
And we welcome.
These are special prizes for you, for Gene, for you. And we got one in here for VB. He didn't show up, but we got one in here.
more stuff for not coming today, I'm telling you.
Now these are Burlington coffee mugs, so we expect to see. And they're funky little hats with frogs on them. But no,
That's okay. That's all right.
Hey, Burlington was great. Next week we're in East Boston, so fly out East Boston.
Get those books in East Boston.
Come out, bring the books, and the turnout here in Burlington sensational. Everybody was great.
Thank you.
Everybody wave to Sky Fox!
With Al Fay's Old Time Fire Museum as our background, we welcome you back to the Common for the closing of what was really a very eventful and meaningful day for the town of Burlington.
Absolutely. I think it was a great public relations event for the town. It showcased a variety of different people who were involved in it. It showed, I think, a lot of the community aspects, how really, as you mentioned earlier in the opening, what a tight-knit community it is. Everybody's basically here represented from the littlest Burlingtonian to the oldest Burlingtonian. So I think all in all, it was a fabulous day, and it was a good opportunity to showcase the town statewide.
And I think the other thing we have to really be appreciative of is not only the great weather that we had, but the fact this was scheduled on one of the first days of summer.
Can't beat that.
All the kids jacked up, ready to go to enjoy summer. Partner, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Working with you, and we'll be on B News Weekly later this afternoon. Phil Gallagher, I'm Andy Buzz Spinali. So long from the Common. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you.